Hi, so we are doing an extra class here with the raindrop that we would love for you guys to be a part of because I think it's really, really important. So everyone want to say hi? Hi! We're all here and we miss you. This is awesome. Is everyone enjoying the class so far?
Yes.
Getting a lot out of all this stuff?
Wow.
And you haven't had a raindrop yet?
No.
Oh, just wait till that part comes. That's the best part. The last few ones, to me, this is all building up to like the really, really like finale here. We're getting awesome. Now, first of all, for everyone who is here, I would love to give you a gift. And I had a couple of things in mind. But I've also given gifts before, and then I found out like they just sat on the shelf. And so I would like for you to know what you want in your heart, what speaks to you. And so instead of me picking out something for you, I'm going to give you a $20 credit for anything on my table. So if you choose something that listen to what God in you says and go either put it towards something and you pay the difference or whatever that looks like to you. Also, for anyone in here after leaving who does at least one class, it could be Facebook or live, of a minimum of 6 people and signs up 2 people either from that class or anything else from beyond the class and on, from beyond this class and on, not counting like what you did this month. But if you do a class and sign up 2 people, and that could be, you could say this is next month. It doesn't have to even be like as soon as you get home. I mean, I'll say 30 days from the class. If you do a class of any kind, whether it's Facebook or a live event in your home or church or whatever, and you sign up a minimum of 2 people with you being an enroller, I will also give you a $50 credit for anything on my website. And so hopefully that will help you to give an incentive to actually take what you have learned in the class and apply it. Malia, I'm also giving you that credit. So for what, I don't know if you heard, but a $20 credit to anything on that for participating and helping and all of this. I appreciate you. You've been very helpful and I love you. I don't know if you know that Malia and I have been friends way before Oils. Like, her and I were in a Bible study in church together from, 20 years ago? Something around there. Yeah, she used to watch my kids when I would travel, when they were babies. And we were a part of a Wednesday night Bible study for years and years, Wednesday day Bible study for moms for years and years and years. And so her and Jude are like very dear to my heart and very much a part of my life, not just my ministry, but also my ministry. She paints at all of our ministry. I don't know if you've ever seen any of her paintings. You need to go to her website, Restore the Arts. She's got phenomenal high frequency. I mean, like her stuff is amazing. And so beyond the raindrop and everything that she is to you here, she's just a phenomenal person and someone who's a dear friend. And I don't say friend to a lot of people. I know a lot of people and I have acquaintance, but she's actually my friend. And so I appreciate you. So we have been, I'm going to do a quick commercial. Why is this kind of stuff important? I have obviously this and like this.
What is that?
Yes. I have signed up so many people just by wearing something like this. I don't know about you guys, but this, especially now, and like before, it was more like, what's Young Living? And now they're like, oh, you do Young Living? Hey, I've been waiting, I've been praying and asking for somebody that I know to be in my field so I could get registered because I've been wanting the oils or whatever. So people are now recognizing what Young Living is. In the past, it was like, what is that? And you say oils, and they'd say, oh, that's the snake stuff or whatever. Now they're like, oh, yeah, I've used some of that. So a lot of people out there are not members, but they have been buying oils or getting it from other people. So the reason why I do not do retail is because if you sell retail to people, then you're just teasing them to get the oils and basically introducing it to them. but they can still go anywhere else and be a member. And so I prefer that you get them in as a member. That way they're with you, they're on their team, they're not going anywhere. And so you can, that's just my preference. Even if we're doing business and like a salon or whatever, I ask the owners to get their own account, and then they could use that, and then for them to offer memberships to their team as well. And there's a whole video on how to work with businesses and ministries. So you guys, if you're interested, you can go to all your chiropractors, your vets, your child care providers, and there are tons of people who are business owners who are signing up. Pharmacies, she signed up a pharmacy the other day. I have like 5 or 6 pharmacies in my downline. And so it's, you guys don't just think about it from a person point of view, although a lot of people on my team, I would say 80%, 90% of the people on my team are just members. And they're not interested in doing it as a business. And I don't even go to people on purpose and say, hey, do you want to be a distributor, or do you want to be, take on another job? I don't use the word distributor because for me, people associate the word distributor with MLMs that are really crappy, and they got a bunch of stuff in their garage from 1970 that they haven't got rid of because they were a part of some funky MLM that's not around anymore. I think also people associate the word distributor with, now I have to work and have another job, and that kind of stresses people out because they're like, I already work 5 jobs and I have 3 kids, and all these things cancel for me. But I'm just saying, so when I'm talking about the oils, and when people are interested in using the oils, I say, you can be a member like Sam's or Costco. People know what Sam's and Costco is, and they associate that with discount. Do you see what I'm saying? If you use the word distributor, that word has a low frequency, and it's automatically putting people on the defense because they're thinking you expect something from them. I've had so many people say, well, I don't really sell, so I don't want to be a distributor. Like, okay, no, we're talking about a member here. You only have to be a member. You do not have to sell anything. We don't even sell things as a distributor. We only offer memberships. And so, please be careful with your words because words are very important. And just in my experience, when I came in, we didn't have the word wholesale member in the company. You were a distributor or you were a retail customer. Those were the only options when you go to the website and you went to sign up. It was only distributor or retail customer. And I was very upset with that because a distributor by definition is someone who's doing the business. And so I had went to Gary several times and I'm like, I think you would get a lot more people if you had a member option. And we talked to them over and over and over because I would talk to my people and say, are you interested in being a member? Because a member doesn't have to do anything automatically that month, but it was not even on the website as an option. It was only distributor or retail at the time. And so I had all these in-between people who didn't want to sell or sell memberships, and they didn't want to pay the high-cost retail. So I was like, Gary, if you offer a membership, you would get so many people because there's a lot of people who don't want to do this as a job or don't want to associate thinking it's as a job. So guess what? They listen. And now it's member or retail. So well, I will bring that up and let them know. I don't know how it is in international. I just know in the States they shifted that. I think Canada shifted it too. Matter of fact, in Canada, for a while, you didn't even need a social. So anyway, I will bring that up. Thank you. I didn't know that.
You don't need one here now.
Yeah, you don't need one here either. Yes. Yes. So when you're speaking to your people, please, I don't ever look for, I hope and I expect for people who can be leaders and be successful. And I already see myself having leaders that are successful. But having multiple members, just regular moms who, the thing is, you just want people to have oils in their family at a discount. And if your focus is really, really on getting people who have oils at a discount and using their money wisely as a good steward. I just say, no, just be a member, because you want to be a good steward of your money. You want to get 24% off. Then once they've used the oils and they're doing well, then you could say, hey, usually people will say, okay, I'll do this, but I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to be on anything automatic, And you're like, no, that's cool. We just want you to get oils in your family, like at a good discount. Trust me, half the time, literally half the time, maybe more, maybe 70% of the time, they still come back and go, hey, remember when I said I didn't want to be a distributor? So, like, if my mom wanted it, like, how does that work? Do I get credit if I get my mom going or my sister? Because now there's a couple people who are interested because they've just heard my testimonies, and believe me, they come back. If you don't push it on them, please let people do their thing and don't be pushy, because if you push, you will have to push forever, and people will be repelled by pushing. People love to be able to make their own choices and to know that you are letting them have their own choices. Free will is from God. God gave us all free will. So you don't be God, you be God in you, and allow people to also have free will too. So when you get pushed, I don't like being pushed. If I feel like there's any kind of pushy, manipulative, witchcraft kind of stuff, I run for the hills. Like, I love just the freedom of knowing that she doesn't expect anything. I'm just doing this. She's okay, and I like that. So anyway, but going back to this kind of stuff, these are great options to, like, talk to people about it. And that way they're coming to you and saying, hey, what about this Young Living thing? What's this thing? Oh, you do the oils. Da, 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 da. So this is a great deal. Talking point. Also, I got a couple other things. Have any of you listened to the Conscious Language CDs? Who hasn't listened to these CDs? Oh my gosh. Okay, so make sure if you do order these that there's two parts. There's a part 11 and then there's a part 12 and 13. It's Vaughn Harding, who's our Royal Crown Diamond upline, and then Bob Stevens. And they go into individual oils and how to use them with the Crees, and a lot of other things about conscious language. So if you're interested in conscious language and switching your entire life out for a new positive world, this is a quick way to do it. And again, what we're about to talk about, these are some of the tools that you can use for imagination activation. This is a little $12. Oh, my hair looks so weird. Okay. Sorry. This is a little $12 I Am book. It goes into some decrees and affirmations that we can say, that I can say, and I do say every day. This is a smaller version of this one. This book is $33. And at first I was like, $33. But okay, now I'm like, $33. Yeah, it's one of the best investments I've ever made. I read this book every day, many times a day. I haven't been able to finish it because I'm really probably about that much into it, because I just keep starting over and reading all the things that I've underlined, and there's really high frequency to this book. I mean, I can literally feel myself shift just reading a paragraph at a time. And then this is a smaller version, pocket version. This is another one. Okay, remember about the credit I'm giving you? Hint, hint, this might be a good way to put towards your credit. This is it's $10 of gold. Again, this is a book I got in August 2015. I haven't finished it yet. It looks really tiny. I'm a fast reader. I ask anyone who knows me, I could read 3 books at a time in a couple days. This big. But I don't, because this book, get your freaking fork and knife. I'm telling you, you will chew 2 or 3 sentences at a time, and then you'll be like, whoa. Like, it is like heavy, awesome, cream, fat. It is golden. And we're going to share. Now look, this dude Neville, there's a couple things that he believes that I don't agree with as far as on a spiritual thing. I haven't got to that part yet, but apparently there's something in one of the chapters in the back where he believes that all of this in life is a hologram. Well, and then if you're coming from a science background and you know that we are a type and shadow of heaven, he may be talking about that. I have no idea where he's coming from because he's dead and I can't ask him. But his whole angle is that God, if you are a Christian, that God is in us fully, and that we shouldn't be chasing God because God's inside already. And so there isn't this like pressing for God and, pursuing him. It's more about remembering him fully. And I may be like mixing this up with my own stuff, but but he talks about imagination and God imagination and how to activate and create and remember that you are a creator on a God level, and how you are creating all the time, whether you choose to or think you are or not. Are you guys what, sisters? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. And we're going to talk a little bit, that's what we're going to teach on today. Conscious language is another one that if you don't have this book, it's a great credit to put towards your credit. He breaks down the English language and what you are saying, what I am saying, and what it actually means. So we're not creating things that we don't choose. It's important that we voice our choice, and only voice our choice, and not mix it with split energy. And then, if any of you heard Stacy Kimbrell, holy moly, this book is one of my absolute favorites. She goes into sugar and detoxing and enzymes and things for pH. She goes into the chemicals that are in our cleaning supplies versus our stuff. She goes into aspartame and different types of sugars, mold, nitrates, and hot dogs. I mean, it is. And if you, she's one of my best friends, and I mean that. When I was in the hospital with black mold in Ecuador, she was actually in there too with black mold, cancel, and there was only 5 of us who spoke English, and so we were on IVs for like 8 hours a day, and sitting in this room together. You get to know somebody a lot when you're with them 10 hours a day, 24 hours a day, and detoxing together. Yeah. We were all like, ah! And then we're like, ah! And then we're like, ah! And like flu symptoms and throwing up and, cancel. And then we slept in the same dorm too at night. So we got to know each other really a lot. She's very real. She's straight up, I was going to say hardcore. She's straight up like the most real, authentic human. She's hilarious. And any audio that you can get of hers on our back office, listen to it. You will crack up and pee your pants. Cancel. A little pee might come out, but she's just really, really funny. We've had her here live a few times. The woman is just, she's like, I invited her over to do a teaching, and she stayed at my house. And I went out to go to the post office or something. I can't remember. I choose to remember what. But when I came home, she had a giant cardboard box by the door full of like Comet and bleach and all these things. She had went through my home while I was gone and took out anything that was bad for me and put it in the box by the door. And I was like, really? Okay. Like, that's really super personal. That she just like went under my sinks, and she was like, I'm just helping you, girl. Like, I'm going through the pantry next, She was like, took out Doritos and like everything, because she was like, this should not be in your home. And I'm your friend, and you are not, I'm not having this in your friend. And I was just like, yes, ma'am. That's all you say. You just say, yes, ma'am. Her name is Stacy Kimbrell. She's from Michigan, and she acts more like she's from New York. Like not like, she's got that very like, and you love her anyway. You're just like, I love you so much. And she's just very straight. And anyway, so we already talked about this. Okay. So for the people who weren't here yesterday to get, gosh, my hair. For the people who are not here last night, I'm going to go a little bit over the science because there may be people. How many people do we have on? Hi, people. It's good to see you. Does my hair look fab? I know I need to do my nails too, right? But we're in raindrop, so. Okay, I'm going through some of this because I would like to go over the science and the scriptural basis for what I'm about to teach and bring to you, because I know a lot of you are Christians. I say Christian. I think it's a funny word now because Bob explained that Christian means to be a follower of Christ. How do you follow what you are inside, what's inside of you? Like, it's like, oh, if he's on the outside, how do you follow that? God is the kingdom of God, and he's in you. And so when we go outside looking for God, we can get in trouble. So it's about remembering him fully in us and realizing that everything he is, we are, if we choose. I even have a song about it. Everything I am, everything you are, I am, is one of the lyrics. Everything you are, I am. Man, I'm going to cry. I mean, that's so big. I mean, can you even imagine, it says greater things than these we will do. Greater things than Christ, we get to do that. Greater things than, there were so many things he did that were not even recorded. And there are things way beyond anything that he did that we get the opportunity to do on the earth now. And so he created the earth. God created the earth. He was there, and he did it all with his mouth. He spoke it into existence. He said, let there be light, and we had light. Voila, boom. And light is a lot of things. Light is frequency. Light is energy. Light is light. And when he said he created light, that includes the light in us. We are that light. We're the light of the world, and we are sons and daughters. And so when he created that light, he created us in his image. And we get to be the image of him here, the shadow of who he is here in light. When, like I said last night, when I worked in cardiac rehab, I did an internship in cardiac rehab, and I got to participate in surgeries for heart surgery, and I didn't actually do surgery, but I was like a little helper, and I would hear all the time the surgeons talking about this electric heart, and it's the biggest electric organ within our body, and it basically pumps frequency throughout our body to keep it going. We are high frequency. We are 62 megahertz on a healthy adult day. And when we get low, we are more susceptible to lower frequency dis-ease. When we are high, no dis-ease can even come in. There's no such thing. People often will say, I don't want to go around so-and-so because she's got the flu, and I don't want to catch it from her. Honestly, you can't catch it from anyone if you keep your frequency up. If you're having a rough day or something, yeah, I probably wouldn't go around anyone. But if you can cover yourself in oils and read some of this stuff and stay above the snake line, like Bob Jones used to say, let's stay above the snake line where nobody can get us. We can walk in anything or walk anywhere and not catch anything because God I am is in us. And guess what? God doesn't catch disease. I don't know if you knew that. So it says even in the scriptures where it talks about even the snakes not being able to get us. So when in the past when I've heard about the law of attraction, that wasn't a freaky idea for me. Although there is a law, there's technically a law, just like gravity. As a Christian or as a Christ I am, I thought that was oogie boogie and weird, and I didn't want to choose to entertain any of that because to me it seemed new age. Honestly, it's not new age, it's old age, and it's just science. And so the more that when I got the piece about the science, then I was like, oh, there's something to this, See, I just did that. That means I'm thriving and I'm connecting some things right now. So when what we think on and what we feel actually creates a sound or a vibe or a frequency in the heart, like I spoke about last night, and this heart pumps a sound, I say a sound, a frequency or a pitch or a current, you choose whatever your verbiage is, but it makes a megahertz that comes out through your whole body and out into about 15 inches radius. Like I said last night, horses are 350. Dolphins are even further than that. That's the highest frequency animal, and they're actually putting people who are very low frequency with health issues in pools of dolphins, and people are getting healed just by being around dolphins, because we, just like we are frequency, we are also tuning forks. And so if you get around a high frequency person, you will feel yourself raising. And that's why I love listening to anyone like Bob Stevens or other people who are, to me, high frequency. Dr. Stewart is very high frequency. Gary Young is extremely high frequency. If you can get to convention or be anywhere in his presence, you will feel yourself higher. Convention on whether Gary is there or not, the frequency of that convention, have any of you been there? It is ridiculous. Plus everyone's wearing oils. People are crying, walking around. I mean, it is like a giant convention building full of oils. People are getting healed. I mean, we can't say that. They're not getting healed. They're sustaining their immunity. It is a very powerful time. It's a week packed of revelation, angelic activity, high frequency, if you can get there. And because it's sustained over a week, you leave. When you can stay that long in a high frequency, your tuning fork stays longer and may be permanent. I'm telling you, there are shifts that have happened with me each time I've gone to convention, and I leave different, and I can sustain it. And it's about being in groups like this too, like all of these things. When you're around people that you can keep that sustained, it's almost like your body goes, oh, I remember this, and then it could stay, and then you just look for the next octave higher, you know. But anyway, so we're going to talk about outcome mapping. I also like to call it income mapping because there's an exchange of income and outcome with this awakened imagination, and using your imagination to get to receive and or walk out the choices you really choose. I'm going to give you some scriptures here. Let's see. Some of this is out of Awakened Imagination. And two, let me say this too. Your brain will not know the difference between what's real and fake. And so if you are, if you're choosing a high frequency, but you have Dateline on in your house, that's going to be a split energy. And nothing against people who do. I'm not judging anyone at all, because if you judge, it comes back, believe me. So bless Dateline. I'm just giving that as an example that when you put yourself in that position of being around and or entertaining low frequency things, whether it's food or people or television or music, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for, because you're going to have split energy. And Bob Jones used to talk about demonic things coming from the TV, even like I don't know if you've ever read the book. What is Napoleon Hill's book about frequency? What is that book he has about frequency having to do with the devil? What's that? Outwitting the Devil. Have any of you read that? Homework assignment. Outwitting the Devil. He goes into all the ways that Napoleon Hill actually had several encounters with, quote, Satan. Cancel. I don't want to bring anything into the room. But he was way back when Firestone and who were some of the big heavy-duty hitters back, the Trumps of their time. Who's the guy? Name some people who were really, really rich back then. I'm blanking out. Rockefellers, Ford, who? Carnegie's. Yeah, back in that day. He was in those realms of people. And he started having these encounters with supposedly the enemy. And the enemy was speaking to him, telling him what ways he could hinder our walk as Christians. And the biggest two things were sickness and poverty. Because he said, if I can get them in those two areas, they'll never do what God had them to do. And he goes into great extent how all of these, quote, spirits are just low frequency. And so, like, it's not even an oogie boogie spirit as much as it is a frequency that he can sneak in through all these things like bad food and whatever. He's like, if I can get you to eat bad food or sugar, then I got you. Pharmaceuticals, I got you. You know, so cancel. But, so, Outwitting the Devil, that book. Anyway, so he wanted to publish it, and his wife said, if you publish that you've been talking to the devil and he's been giving you stuff, then your whole thing is over. Like, so it wouldn't, you know, he had it all ready to go, and his wife wouldn't let him do it. So it sat until she died, not last year, but the year before in October, and they found this old book, and they were like, this, they published it. And so she would probably, you know, roll over in her grave if she knew, but he's probably like, yay, it's out. But so get that book. It really is awesome. So anyway, but your brain doesn't know the difference. So if you go to a bad movie, or if you're watching war on TV, your brain doesn't know the difference between if you're at home in your blue walls watching some YouTube or something, or if you are actually in Afghanistan doing war. You're going to have the same chemical reaction in your chemistry and in your frequency of stress and cortisols and all those things that cause you to pump out the wrong things. And so just be super aware to what you're exposing yourself to and what you're entangling yourself into. And you'll find that the higher tuned fork you are, you're not going to choose those things anymore. And it's not because you sat down and had to make yourself. It's just going to be automatic. Like the first time I went through Bob's All For You, I did not sit through the class and, you know, with a list of goals that I chose to have for the end of the weekend. I came home and I literally started cleaning, and I was like, why am I cleaning? And by the end of like maybe 5 or 6 hours, I had 23 garbage bags full of stuff that I did not require anymore, and I brought them all to Goodwill. And I posted it, and someone else in the class was like, I just did the same thing. And someone else posted and said, oh my gosh, I did that too. I didn't have 23 bags, I had 40. You know, and I was just like, oh. So then I realized too, I had slept better. And also I went to the store and I picked out the shirt, and it was like light blue. And I came home and I started to put it in my closet, and I realized my whole closet was pretty much black. Like everything was black in the closet. A couple gray things. And my daughter was like, you're getting something blue? And I was like, I know, isn't that really cute? I like it. And then I got like a pink and some other things, and I was like, I'm wearing pink. You know, this is like a different color for me even. It's kind of dark, but it's still a light, kind of, I don't know what this is, mauve, I don't know, purplish. And so eggplant, yes. So what else happened? I started releasing weight. There was a lot of different things that happened, and then I realized everyone in the class was experiencing it all together, and it was because we had went up so many octaves that we couldn't even participate in clutter or dark colors, or there was television TiVos that I had that I would go watch, Dateline or whatever, and it would come on and I'd be like, I don't choose to see this. And again, it wasn't like I'm making all these goals. It was just these foods that I used to eat, I wasn't able to eat them anymore. And so oils are really important for those things. Reading things like this, participating in group things like this. You know, the more inner things that you do, that I do, you're not going to have to struggle and have effort into these goals that we are looking for. They're going to just come. It's just going to be who you are. And the people who you've been waiting for to be a part of your team, they're just going to come automatically, like the signups, the teams, all these people who just suddenly want to do the business or want to have a meeting. that you've been like, oh my God, I've been pushing this person, and now, like random people I've never met before are suddenly coming to me, and I didn't even talk to them. Like, they just went to my website automatically. And so just everything's an inside job. Everything that you perceive as an outside job is not an outside job. It's an inside job. Just continue as you decree things. When you speak, your words are frequency. Your thoughts are frequency. The more that we can practice speaking positive things, the better our frequency will be within and attract things towards us. And so there's a scripture that says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of our God. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of our God. And we take captive every imagination that doesn't line itself up with God. And we make it obedient to Christ. So that means the more awake though we are, the more thoughts come in that aren't lining itself up with God. We can go, not that, and replace it with something. Because you could sit there and go, no, but until you replace it with something, you're not going to see the results that you're choosing. And so, replace it with a positive affirmation, a positive decree, positive thought about yourself. When you can replace those things permanently, one of my decrees is, I am the ascended Jesus Christ's permanent light, love, and victory already attained in my business, in my health, in my family, in my church, in my, you name it. I say permanent because even Peter, who Christ was with him, and he said, who do they say I am? And Peter said, you're the Messiah. And he was like, awesome. You could have only known that by the Holy Spirit. And 2 sentences later, he had to tell Peter, get behind me, Satan, because he said something stupid. And it's like, so we can go in and out of truth. And I prefer permanent victory. I choose permanent, sustaining, high frequency, and love. And so, and by the way, that scripture that says, get behind me, Satan, he's not saying get behind me, Satan. If you look at the original text, he's saying cease thought form that doesn't line up with God. He's not talking to a person. He wasn't talking to Peter, and he wasn't talking to Satan. He was talking to the thought form that he had, and saying, die, thought form. You don't line up with Christ. You don't line up with me. And so I would also encourage you to look up the scriptures in the Hebrew and the Greek and really see what is the truth, because we're personifying these things, and really it's not external, it's internal. Everything is an inside job. And we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of our God, and we take captive every imagination that isn't lined up with God, and we make it obedient with God by replacing it. When we replace it, that's when the octaves go higher. You can sit here and go, no. But until you replace it, you will not be the high octave that you choose. So, alignment is important. Let me go over a little bit about mapping before I get into scriptures. I suggest get a book of some kind that you keep all of your mapping in. I would always date it, because you want to go back and see how fast you're getting your miracles. And you will get miracles. Trust me. I have miracles every freaking single day, and sometimes multiple. And I'm still having them, and I will always have miracles because God's in me. So you can use colors when you're doing it. You'll get to a point where you're not even writing things down, but you're mapping it in your head, and you're going to see miracles anyway. But there's something kinetic about writing things out that make it faster, because your hand is doing it, your eye is seeing your hand doing it. It creates different pathways in your brain. Just by saying it, visualizing it, writing, all of those things together combined create things faster. And so, again, I keep a book, because that way at any time I can go look to see. At the beginning I was writing them on napkins. I was putting them on whatever was in front of me at the time. The kids would accidentally throw it away. The napkin would go in the garbage. I would be on a plane and be like, oh, I don't have anything else but this. Now I always carry this book with me, even when I travel, because I want to, when my miracle happens, I want to be able to go back and go, how fast did I do that? God, you're freaking awesome. You did it in 2 days. You'll see too that the miracles happen faster and faster and faster the more you practice. I love this teaching because for years I went to whoever all over the world. I'm not going to name names. Everyone on the Elijah list, and we would hear about their encounters. And I was that person too. I would teach and share my encounters, hoping to encourage people to have their own encounters. But I didn't know how to teach you to do it yet. Nor did anyone I was running around with teach you how to have your own miracles. This is actually how to have your miracles. And so let's look at some scriptures that support what I'm saying. Glasses, never mind. Let's see. Here's one. Father, reveal thy Son in me. Just talking about if you're choosing to know what to even map, you can ask the Lord to show you what to map. Okay, wait. Page 50. I'm going to get there. Yes. So, yes, I'm actually going to do a map. What level is that? Oh, I don't know if I could do that. Does anyone have glasses that are like a 1.5?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so Isaiah 55. My word shall not return unto me void, but it shall be accomplished that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing where I send it to. Did you get that? Isaiah 55:11. My word shall not return void unto me, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing where I send it to. 56. I'm looking at. Okay, here's several. Let's be imitators of God as dear children. That's Ephesians 5:1. 2 Samuel 23:2. The Lord spoke to me, and His word was in my tongue. Philippians 4:8. Whatsoever things are good report, think on these things. I think the food is here. You guys want to stop and grab your food? Ephesians 5:1, 2 Samuel 23:2, and Philippians 4:8. We're going to pause. I'll be right back. Everyone's going to go get their food. I love you.